and welcome to A Window to Bourne. I'm your host, Mavis Robinson, and joining me today is Meg Morris of the Cape Cod Anti-Litter Coalition. Meg, thanks for being here today.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
So I have to say, walking in today, I noticed a soda can on the way in, and it felt very interesting that was there as we're going to talk about littering on the Cape. So let's talk about what is your organization and how did it get started?
Sure, we're a relatively young organization. We were only incorporated in 2016.
Okay.
We're made up of a group of people who got tired of picking up litter. We all do it on a routine, mostly daily basis, and we just said, wait a minute, we don't mind picking it up, but we'd rather prevent it from going down in the first place.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? We do that through an awareness campaign, which has a lot of different facets to it. The traditional get into the schools and talk to the kids about litter, talk to the businesses about litter. As you know, the Cape Cod Times did a huge 2-week article earlier this year on litter.
Yes.
It was,
yes.
I mean, it was huge.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how much space they gave us. And that is part of the awareness campaign.
Yeah.
So everything that we do, we just try to make people aware that there is litter. It may be hidden, but really, if you stop and look, as you did this morning,
right? Yeah,
you see it.
Well, it's amazing. Once it's in your brain, you suddenly, are seeing things that maybe wouldn't have even been on the radar before.
That's right,
Yeah.
and that's exactly the goal.
Yeah.
Is to make people aware of it, and then once they're aware of it, to talk to them about how to prevent it. In our book right now, there's kind of two kinds of litterers. One is accidental littering,
Okay.
as we call it,
Yep.
and a good example of that is if you had a Kleenex in your pocket, but you had something else in your pocket, maybe a change or something like that. You reach in your pocket, you pull out the change, the Kleenex falls out, you don't realize it has fallen out.
Right, right.
So that's accidental. So we'll cut some people some slack on accidental littering.
Yeah.
But the can, as an example this morning, no.
Right. That didn't fall out of somebody's pocket.
No, that didn't.
Yeah.
That didn't. And it may have, because I noticed today is trash day, at least in this area of Bourne. And I saw a lot of, you have these lovely blue bins. They're wonderful.
Oh,
we
love our blue bins.
They're big.
In town.
I
Yes,
know
yes.
you do. They're big.
Yeah.
But I saw many that the garbage was over the top and the lid was open.
Okay.
Now,
yeah.
when that lid is open, what happens? For instance, yesterday you had the tornado.
Right. Yeah.
That wind can whip material out of those containers.
Yep.
That then becomes litter.
Or even when the trucks automatically pick up the bin, if the lid's not closed, things will fall out.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes,
And I
yeah.
believe, and the sanitation workers generally, they'll pick up things that they see immediately. But things happen.
Yep.
So again, that also can be a form of accidental littering, but there's a way to prevent that.
Yep.
It's called put the lid down.
Right.
If you have so much trash, well, number one, you might want to analyze that.
Right.
But number two, put the lid down on that bin and
Yeah.
make sure it's secure so that wind, animals don't get in that bin, spread that all. It's trash, and then it becomes litter.
Right. Right.
And then, of course, when it becomes litter, you all here in Bourne are so close to the canal, into the canal,
Right. Right.
into the marine life,
Yep. Yep.
and ultimately back to us.
Back to us. And I have to say, I appreciate when you talk about accidental littering, and I did visit your website. You have a fantastic website with some great resources. Before I did a lot of reading on your website, I sort of thought of litter as being, that's what other people do, because I never consciously litter. But then when I read about that accidental, and one of the things you talk about is keeping a clean car.
Right.
And I'm guilty. I have a messy car, and just realizing, oh, if I open that door and there's a napkin from Starbucks sitting there, I might not even realize, and I'm contributing to the problem.
Exactly.
So it really did make me realize, you raised my awareness already.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good, there's another one.
I know. But I do think that it's sometimes, when you talk about awareness, I remember from the 70s, we had Give a Hoot, Don't Pollute, and
the crying Indian.
The crying
Yes.
Indian, and it felt like it was, there was such a campaign to combat littering. And with the disappearance of that campaign, my impression was almost like, oh, maybe we solved the problem. Do we have any statistics for, do we have more or less litter, or is it a similar problem?
Well, I think it's a similar problem. It did go away for a while.
Yeah.
And then as we all got older, that next generation, well, I would say the next generation probably, they also were somewhat educated because we educated them. No, don't throw that out the window,
Right,
you know.
right.
But then the next generation, so the further you got away from it, I mean, that's over 50 years ago.
I know.
I hate to admit.
I know.
I hate to admit, but it's a long time to go without a massive nationwide campaign
Yeah.
on not littering. And what's happened, when I started noticing it more, when I was working off Cape and I'd drive down Route 6, and it drove me nuts. There would always be litter on the sides of 6.
Yeah.
Now, the county sheriff's department, they have the folks who come out and clean it up, the inmates, and I'm happy they do it, but they didn't do that littering.
Right.
They were in prison.
Right.
They were in jail.
Yeah.
So where is that litter coming from? A lot of it is coming from trucks that are uncovered.
Okay.
It's
Pickup
not
trucks or
Yeah,
garbage trucks?
It's a lot of it is pickup trucks.
Okay,
You
yeah.
hit the nail on the
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
You know, it used to be, I remember even this as a kid, hearing, if you put it in the back of the truck, aerodynamically, it will stay there. That's not true. It might have been
yeah.
true if it was an engine block.
Right, right.
Okay? It's not true for a styrofoam cup. And so what I see along Route 6, and even as I came down today, it was like, oh, it's a mess again. Again, a bag, somebody might be carrying a bag to the transfer station. The bag flies off for some reason. It pops open. Now you have litter strewn
Right.
over a certain length of the highway. And it's just carelessness.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is things that are in the back of the truck.
Yes.
And it's too bad. So we're trying to make people aware. If you put it in the back of the truck, you have to have an idea that it's going to fly out.
Right.
Why
right.
would you do that?
Right.
Why would you mess up where you live?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, sort of once it's back there, out of sight, out of mind. Or, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Captain, actually, I forgot to introduce my co-host, Captain, but he does have an important question that he wanted to remind me to ask, because we do a lot of walks together, and we're always walking along the Cape Cod Canal, and he just can't understand why people will clean up after their dogs, but leave the bag.
I know.
I mean, that's the puzzle of the universe.
Yes, it is, and thank you for that question, young man. We find that a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't currently have a dog. I'll get one in the future when I have time for a dog. But it does amaze me, if you will. People have done the icky part
Right.
of
Yes.
this task,
Yes.
and then they nicely knot it up. And then they'll toss it in the bushes. Sometimes they leave it out, and sometimes, on the rare occasion, people do leave it, and then on their way back, they pick it up. I have actually seen that happen. But a lot of times, they toss it into the bushes.
Right.
And then somebody else has to come along and pick it up.
Or it's plastic in
Yes, I know.
the beautiful woods. You know, I mean,
I know.
And my thought is always, if you love the canal enough that you want to take a walk and enjoy its beauty, why would you ever be the type of person who would want to sully
that?
it? Yeah,
I know. I think some of it is people don't like the idea. I mean, and think about it. When you were a kid, we didn't pick up dog
That's true.
poop.
Right. Well,
lot
dogs
less
roamed
people
everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And although truly a lot less dogs. So it wasn't the issue that it is nowadays.
Right.
Now we've learned there are things in dog poop that we don't want in our water supplies, and so you do want to pick up after your dog.
Right.
And it boggles my mind too. It's like, why did you wrap it all up?
Yeah.
I mean, I would almost rather that you just kicked it aside.
Exactly.
frankly.
At least it would, the plastic wouldn't be part of it, the
Right,
bag.
because the plastic is the issue.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm sure you have read articles about, we're now finding, again, this is how science is progressing so rapidly, and we're able to measure things infinitesimally, if that's a word. But now the plastics that are getting into the ocean are actually being ingested by all kinds of sea life,
Right.
whether mammals or fish.
Yep.
Some of those fish primarily are coming back to us as food. It's also in the salts. And so some of that, this is new, this
gosh.
is really
Oh,
new.
sea
This
salt.
is coming back to
Yeah,
us now
yeah.
because we put salt on everything. And
right.
at the meeting I was at last night up in Boston, they were talking about how now they've looked at, it's not just sea salt, it's in all these salts. So plastic is in all of our food stream.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I don't like the idea of eating plastic.
No, that doesn't seem like a good idea at
No,
all.
no.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
again, a way to prevent that, to start preventing that, is by all of us not littering, first off. Please
Yeah.
don't litter.
Yeah.
But second off, if you see litter, I know it's not yours, but please pick it up.
Yeah,
Before it goes into the canal or into the bay or into the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so important for all of us.
Well, but when you say that, that reminds me of a really cool thing that, again, I learned about on your website, this project by the group Literati,
Yes.
where they're developing an app that would sort of, it almost reminds me of Pokemon Go. Because I was obsessed with that for a little while.
Yes.
That, on your phone, as you're going about your business, you're sort of, taking a picture,
Right.
picking up something, some piece of litter or, collection of litter, and then you kind of like build this little profile that, to sort of, gamifying the collecting of litter.
Exactly.
Which I think is really brilliant.
It is.
Yeah.
When that first came out, it was a couple of years ago, and I can't remember, I stumbled across it. And it was like, oh my God, because I was sort of a little hooked on Pokemon too, but I got over it.
I did too, but
But it did, when he sort of took that same concept and applied it to litter, and then added, okay, you took the picture, it says Brewster, Massachusetts on such and such a date, but you're supposed to pick up the litter too.
Right.
Don't
right.
just take a picture of it.
Yes,
Go
yes.
ahead and pick it up. And
Yeah.
I think that is a wonderful way to engage more people, and especially the younger set.
Yeah.
I think, truthfully, I think there are a lot of senior citizens, I know there are a lot of senior citizens on the Cape who routinely pick up trash every day. I'm amazed. There are people who are 10 and 20 years older than me, and I'm no spring chicken, that are out there on a daily basis picking up trash.
Yeah, yeah.
I would like to engage the younger folks
Yeah.
in this same effort. And if it takes a game to engage them, great. Literati's got it. You just download it.
And is the app finished? The article I read said that it was in development, but is it ready
No,
to go?
it is ready to
Oh,
go.
good.
It is
Okay,
ready to
okay,
go,
yeah.
and you can, they were doing some beta tests, and I'm not the most computer literate person here, but I remember that. They were doing some beta tests, and it is now fully functional.
Oh, I'm
and
downloading
it's-
it for sure.
Yes, and
Yes.
it's around the world.
Yeah.
And so again, it's really great. If there was a group in Bourne that sort of wanted to embrace this,
Yes,
then
yes.
it becomes the Bourne group,
Right,
and then
right.
all of a sudden Bourne's on the map
Yeah.
as being someone who's concerned about litter and picking it up.
Well, you're reminding me, we have a really nice local Facebook page that's called the Bourne Residents page, and folks who live in Bourne are always on there interacting and talking about local issues. And there is a young woman, I wish I could remember her name, who was regularly at the beginning of the summer posting photos of trash that she was picking up.
Oh, good for her.
And she must have been 25 or 20. You know, she was a kid.
Yeah.
And was out there, and it was very inspiring.
Oh,
and,
good.
And you know, and sort of and giving a call to action to others to join her. I'll be out tomorrow at Monk's Park picking up trash. I'll be out.
Wonderful.
It was really wonderful, and so I'm gonna send a link to Literati to our Bourne residents page, because I think that is something that people could really get behind.
Right, and it's easy enough.
Yeah.
A lot of people do still take walks, whether, and that was another thing we discovered. We've done several surveys, and one we did down here at the canal. We participated in a cleanup that the Army Corps of Engineers did.
Yes, just this fall, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
well, we did the one earlier in
Okay.
the spring, I think it was, on the other side of the bridge. And, but we had a survey question, and so we'd ask people, do you think litter is a problem here on Cape Cod? Now, most of the older people said yes. Most of the younger people said no, and so when they said no, we would say, well, I'm just curious, why, you know, do you walk? Oh no, I drive everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, oh, that explains it. I
not
said, and if
seeing
you're
it.
not on 6, but I said, trust me, just go up on 6, you'll see plenty of litter.
Yes.
But if traditionally you're driving around, you're not seeing the litter. Stop a minute, take a short walk, take a 5-minute walk,
Yeah.
and you will be appalled at the litter here on Cape Cod. And it's so important to our economy.
Right.
We are based on tourism, let's face facts.
Yeah, yeah.
And tourists, after a while, are going, well, why would I come to, you know, to Cape Cod? It's the beaches are littered, the streets are littered.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so people need to understand the economic impact is, you know, there's a huge environmental impact. Sometimes people don't want to hear about environmental impacts, but now you need to listen. There is an economic impact to it.
Yeah.
And now that we know better, scientifically we know there is a human impact by all the plastics in the oceans.
We're eating and
Yes.
salting our food. The salt. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's I think I posted that on our Facebook page, the salt thing.
Wow.
So-
Wow. That's so interesting. You know, and as we're talking, I'm thinking there's a few themes when you talk about the Barnstable County Sheriff's men cleaning up the side of the road and the little bags of poop along the canal. I feel like, you know, maybe something that happens in people's minds is like, oh, that's somebody else's job to worry about. And
Yes.
I do know, you know, as I was talking to other dog walkers, I had a conversation with somebody who I saw leave a bag once, and asked, you know, why would you leave that? And
Right.
and the answer was, oh, the people, you know, the people come in the golf carts, and that's their job
Oh
to pick it up.
my goodness.
So it's sort of like, how do we
break that?
Yeah, how do we get
Yes.
the word out that it's everybody's job?
Right, it is,
Yeah.
and it's everyone's responsibility. I have a little phrase I used way back when I was in upstate New York in politics, no less, and it had to do, I was getting into solid waste management at the time, and I said, you know, the thing with garbage is, we're all part of the problem because we all produce trash, garbage, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So therefore, we must all be part of the solution. And so it starts with us individually, me too.
Right,
You know,
right.
I'm no angel.
Right.
Things happen.
Are there key things that an individual could do to reduce their trash footprint? What's something that I could do today?
Well, you know, part of it is looking at what you buy. So a lot of times there's a choice between something that is double wrapped
Okay.
and
yes.
something that is like single wrapped, if you
Yes,
will.
yes.
So if they are equal products and it's something that you need, because that's another thing, a lot of times all of us buy stuff we want, we don't necessarily need it. Okay, we're all guilty of it. I'm not exempt either, but I try and think about it. Do I really need a new sweater? Or can I wear the sweater that I've bought and used for 10 years now? Yeah, it still looks pretty good, you know. So I don't really need to go buy a new sweater.
Yeah.
Or do I need to buy a new sweater that's wrapped in plastic?
Right.
Or can I buy one that's folded on the table?
Yeah. Or even the knowledge that even that sweater that's folded on the table now probably came wrapped in plastic to the store, and that plastic has to get, you know, disposed of someplace
Exactly.
else too. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
There. So a
So
lot.
just consumption itself, even if you don't see it,
Yes.
produces
produces
waste. Yeah.
yes, it
Yeah.
produces waste.
Yeah.
And so the best thing that people can do when it comes is to manage their waste. And again, Bourne, I know, has a good system, and so it's how to educate the residents further on, for instance, shutting that lid.
Right.
Or if you know the collection day is going to be windy and rainy, can you hold your recyclables till the next week? You know, or the excess recyclables, you know, because you all have containers for both, lidded containers. And just putting that lid down makes a huge difference. You know, along
It's such a little thing.
it's just
but
such a little thing.
Yeah.
Make sure the lid is down.
Yeah.
Just, you know, because you can kind of hear it snap when it goes down. Make sure it's down.
Yep. Yep.
And that helps with controlling the litter. The other thing, I know Bourne has a pretty high fine for littering.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you have one of the higher ones here on the Cape. And I know it's low on the police department's list. Littering is not, you know, what's more important, that they catch the crook who just robbed the bank,
Right.
or that they catch the litterer who littered.
Yeah.
Probably the bank robber, you know, but by the same token, I think there has to be a way to engage the public. So, for instance, if you're riding behind a car and you see the proverbial hand come out and the can drops out, or the cup or whatever, you should be able to take a picture of the license plate, not confront the person, because again, people are a little wild today, but take that picture and send it to the police. And at some point, the police reach out to this person and say, hey, they might not have caught you actually dropping the cup, but someone took your license plate because they saw you drop this.
Yep.
So I'm putting you on notice now.
Yep.
So again, it's part of the whole awareness program, but it kind of has to involve the whole community.
Yeah.
The whole community.
Does your organization have any research on what constitutes the majority of the litter, or how is the kind of collection of trash broken up into categories? Is it
From a report I just heard last night from the Center for Coastal Studies, the stuff that they're finding on the beaches is the highest percentage is the foam packaging.
Okay.
So it's the paper or the plastic. Excuse me, not ours. Ours are
I know,
ceramic.
it's lovely we have ceramic
Ours are
cups.
ceramic, and but it's the it's the foam cups and plates and that kind of plastic.
Okay.
So it's food wrappings.
Yep.
Is the biggest contaminant that they find. So
And is there a considerable difference between? I actually just was out to dinner last night and got a little takeout, and it did come in a styrofoam container. A lot of times they'll use those paper boxes.
Right.
I mean, is there a difference?
is one better than the other?
Yeah.
That's the old what's better, a plastic bag or a paper
Right,
bag, you know?
right,
And
yeah.
there's pluses and minuses on both sides. And because I would have to say in this case, the paper container is better than the styrofoam container.
Okay.
And styrofoam is not the right word, the foam container.
Okay.
It is styrofoam is a specific product,
Okay.
which is generally, we all use it interchangeably, but really it's just a foam product. Those little clamshell kind of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even choosing, there's times where I'm hosting an event at the Bourne Historical Society, and we want to serve a beverage.
Right.
Is there a better cup to choose? The plastic, a foam cup, a paper cup?
Right. A lot of organizations are trying to go waste-free, and they've encouraged their membership to bring their own cup. Sometimes we had a recycling meeting up in Wellfleet, where the Wellfleet Recycling Committee provided all reusable utensils. They just accumulated them from the thrift shops and wash them, take them home and wash them, and bring them back. And I thought that was really great. I mean, I would love to see some of our coffee shops, if they can, legally through the health departments, allow us to bring our own container in and pour me a cup of coffee into it,
yes.
instead of giving me another foam cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to me, there are a lot of ways to reduce the amount of waste that we're all responsible for generating, because I don't have to buy the coffee, but I do buy the coffee.
Yes, yes.
So,
Yeah.
so again, we're all part of that problem.
Yeah.
So we all need be part of the solution.
And even as a quality of life thing, it's so much nicer to drink coffee out of a ceramic cup.
I agree.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So.
Oh wow! So if there was like only one thing that that we could sort of take away and do, what would be? I know if there's, what would be the most important thing that that an individual could do to help the problem of litter on the Cape?
I think it's just to spread the awareness issue. That's sort of the start.
Yes.
Is to spread the awareness issue. Make, you know, just ask your friends or at your historical society. Just do just a little poll. Do you all think that litter is an issue? And there's sometimes an immediate reaction of no, but then when they stop and think a minute, they go, well, no, you're right. Down on such and such a street,
Yes.
gosh, did you notice that at the corner where the stop sign is, there always seems to be a lot of cigarette butts. We didn't even go there, but you know, and because people, they're stopped, so they drop it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really just making people aware, and as each person becomes aware, other people become aware, and it spreads.
Yeah.
We do have a couple of PSAs that we just developed. Right now they're focused on accidental littering. The next set is focused on intentional littering, but we decided we would start nice, and so we did those up on your sister channel in Dennis.
Okay. Yeah.
And so they've just started running them, and so they will be on whatever that access
Cable
program
access.
is. Yes,
Yes. Okay. Oh,
So
good. Can we check them out on your Facebook page or?
as soon as they get posted, yes.
Okay.
We have to convert how they, as you know, yes, they have to be converted to different file formats in
Yes,
order to
yes,
show on different things.
yes.
And we'll be putting them on the website and the Facebook page
Yeah.
too.
Well, I know that I'm going to be checking out your Facebook page. How do I find you on Facebook? Is it the Cape Cod Anti-Litter Coalition?
Yes.
Do you have any sort of shortcut to get there? Or if I just type that into Facebook,
You'll
I'll find you?
You'll find us right away. We're
Okay.
the only one.
Okay. Well, and I also I already checked out your webpage, and I really liked it. And I
Great.
have to say, I'm glad those PSAs focusing on the accidental litterer. I think it's a good idea because, I always saw that other people litter, and it can become a dividing thing. You know, I found myself being judgmental when I would see litter and think like, who are those jerks doing that? Well, maybe I'm the jerk and I have to clean my car out.
That's right. That's right. And again, we all are jerks at times.
Yeah.
So, but yes, that's great.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Well, I really appreciate all you're doing to help keep the Cape beautiful and clean, and you've certainly inspired me today to do my part as well. So,
Great.
So thank you so much.
And thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here today. And thanks for joining us for A Window to Bourne, and I hope you're all inspired like I am to get out there and keep Bourne beautiful and keep the Cape beautiful, and do your part. We'll see you next time.